Good afternoon, good morning. Thank you all for joining us today. We are here to learn about the island hopping adventures that you can have in Cape Verde. But before I hand you over to our guest speaker today, I'd just like to introduce myself and DMC reps. For those of you who are unfamiliar with us, we are a sales and marketing representation company. We specialize in DMCs. We have around 55 partners from around the world, covering over 60 countries. One of which is with us today. We have Sarah Oliveira from the TerraSab group, who are our Cape Verde specialist DMC. And she's going to do a wonderful presentation and a webinar today for you on the island hopping adventures that you can have. So without further delay, I will hand over to Sarah, and she can start with her presentation and show you what you can do in Cape Verde. So Sarah, over to you.
Thank you. So I am Sarah Oliveira. I am part of the TerraSab group, and I will share with you some facts and information about Cape Verde as a destination, and I will help you understand the possible combinations between islands. It's just a few seconds while we have the program ready. So I will start by introducing the TerraSab group. TerraSab group is operating in Cape Verde for more than 20 years. It is formed by 3 DMC split over different islands. So we have Morabitur, located in Sal and Boa Vista Island, specializing charter operations. We have Atlantur, located in Santo Antão, São Vicente, and Santiago Islands. We are specialized in FITs, tailor-made, and island hopping. Qualitur is located in Fogo and Brava Islands. We also have a part of the business related to weddings, honeymoons, vow renewals, romantic trips. To be updated with COVID-19 situation in Cape Verde, you can access 2 official websites, travel.gov to get all the latest travel requirements, and covid19.cv to know the number of active cases and other information. For someone who enters the country, you need to have a PCR or antigen test. The vaccination certificate is accepted. If you have one, you don't have to be tested to travel between islands. And fortunately, all our agencies got the Safe Tourism stamp. Now we will talk about how to get to Cape Verde. These are all the connections that we had before the pandemic. Now, connections are made mainly by TAP Air Portugal that connects Lisbon to the 4 islands with international airports. And there is also chartering from operations from a lot of European cities connecting, especially Sal Island. We will share some interesting facts about Cape Verde. Cape Verde was a former Portuguese colony. The official language is Portuguese, although people speak Creole. The currency is the Cape Verdean escudo, which has a fixed exchange rate to euro. Visa and MasterCard are accepted. The climate is very mild, temperate, and the temperatures, for example, in what we call winter, is from 21 to 25 degrees. Europeans don't need visa entry. They only have to pay an airport tax called TSA. Guests have to pay an overnight stay of €2 per person per night. But we can consider that Cape Verde is a very stable and safe country. Tourists don't need to worry with vaccines, except now the COVID-19. Let us now start with a brief overview of the islands, locations, and accessibility. On the right side of the map, we've got the 2 most touristic islands, Sal and Boa Vista. They both have international airports, and that is where most of the charter flights take place. Now moving to the south, we have Maio Island, only accessible from Santiago by plane or boat. It has a small domestic flights airport with flights only twice a week. Then we have the biggest island, Santiago, with another important international airport, following the neighbor island Fogo with the domestic flights airport, and the access is only done from Santiago. And in the south sides, we have Brava. Brava is a small island that it's only accessible from Fogo by boat, and it has no airport. On the north, we have Santo Antão, only accessible by boat from São Vicente. It's only an hour trip with daily ferries making round trips 3 times a day. São Vicente, the neighbor island, has an international airport with daily flights coming from Lisbon. Then Santa Luzia, the small deserted island transformed into a protected natural reserve. Finally, on this group, we have São Nicolau, a very beautiful island, but with limited access. It has a domestic flights airport with flights coming from Santiago twice a week. I'd like to give you an idea of what islands it is possible to combine in circuits. In, for example, a 7 or 8 day circuit, we should never combine more than 2 or 3 islands. So one possible combination, it would be Santiago, Fogo for a discovery or hiking trip. And at the end of the trip, maybe if people want to relax or enjoy the beach, we could offer an extension to Sal or Boa Vista. Another possible combination, it would be São Vicente and the neighboring island, Santo Antão. And we could also include a relaxing escape to Sal. If people want circuits of more than 10 days, then we can combine more islands, 4 or 5. But what people should never, ever do in Cape Verde is run from one island to the other. Because if we rush, we for sure lose one of the most captivating elements of this island, the warmth of the people. So you must have time to live this experience, to feel the real Cape Verde. About accommodation, we can tell you that it is very diversified, from charming guest houses to 4-star hotels. And in Sal and Boa Vista, you can find the big 5-star resorts. The gastronomy is something that you find in all islands. You can taste local products by doing cooking workshops or gastronomic tours. Try the local dish cachupa, or seafood delicacies such as lobster. Let's now start our virtual trip with Sal Island. I think the picture speaks for itself. It's an island with beautiful beaches where guests can relax and enjoy the no-stress island. Most of the charter flights come to Sal. It is where the relaxing sun and sea trips take place. And there is also what is considered one of the best international airports of Africa. One of the main attractions of this island is the salt mines of Pedra de Lume, where you can find the origin of the name of this island, as well as have the chance to swim in a lake with the sensation of floating, something similar to what you experience in the Dead Sea. You can observe sharks from a safe distance, and they're not dangerous. In Terra Boa, you can find the excitement of visiting a desert and see its mirages. If you want something more adventurous, then you can try a jeep safari. Lots of dust, but also lots of fun. Of course, you can, for example, do a catamaran trip or depart on a sailing boat. We can offer a wide variety of choices, and this is a unique opportunity to get to know the coast of Sal by boat. It's definitely a must-do in Sal. Quad bug is experienced to get to know the island in a fun, alternative ways. The sea turtles watching that can be done from June to October. It's an excellent program for families and nature lovers. And sea activities, of course, snorkeling, diving, surf, paddle surf, kite surfing. Sal is one of the most popular spots for kite surfing, not only in the country, but in the world. Just to let you know, we had 3 former world champions coming from this island. And we have the Serra Negra zipline for those who seek an extra dose of adrenaline. You can have the feeling of a typical Cape Verdean night with dancing, animation, or you can choose a more sophisticated evening in an European standard restaurant bar, such as Bikini Beach Club. Now we head to another touristic island with white sand beaches, clear crystal waters, Boa Vista. Like Sal, we have an international airport, and it is also a sea turtle spawning spot. What can we do in Boa Vista? We can, for example, make a tour to Vienna's desert, a desert made by sand blown by the winds from Sahara Desert. It's quite impressive. During these tours, you will pass by some typical villages, giving you the chance to see a little more of the real Cape Verde. Boa Vista is also known as the wrecked boats island, which makes the perfect scenario for diving and exploring the underwater sea fauna. You can appreciate and buy some of the traditional ceramics, handicraft, and the beaches, the wonderful beaches with the feeling of being away from everything and everyone. If you're looking for a little adventure, we recommend the off-road vehicles tour. We also invite you to get to know some of the local sustainable projects, such as natural soap manufacture, supporting the turtle protection program. We can offer relaxing, romantic moments, such as horseback riding in a beach, snorkeling and visit to the desert islets with beautiful surroundings, a day dedicated to sports fishing with barbecue lunch, and you can do whale watching between March and May, which is always an unforgettable experience. At night, we can peek at the turtles. And one of the must-do experience is to enjoy a dinner on the middle of the desert with an amazing star observation. As in Sal, you can explore the island in quad bikes. It's dusty, but very exciting. Now, still in the line of destinations with beautiful beaches, we have Maio Island. This island is still not very developed for tourism, mostly due to the lack of accessibility. Flights are not very often, only twice a week, only coming from Santiago, which makes it very hard to combine in circuits with few days. It's though perfect for the kind of tourists that have time and no worries if they have to stay longer in an island, maybe 4 or 5 days. But it's ideal for those who seek quiet relaxation and who seek an unexplored place. Now, arriving to the biggest island, Santiago. Santiago has an international airport near the city, 15 minutes away. It's the largest island and the most African one, both in culture and traditions. It was the first island to be colonized by the Portuguese. So what can we visit in Santiago? Well, a visit not to miss is Cidade Velha, or Old City, named World Heritage by UNESCO. Here we can discover the roots of Cape Verde from the time of colonization, the slave trades, and it is very interesting. As for nature, the tours show a wide variety of landscapes, whether mountain, valleys, beaches. But of course, in this African environment, we cannot miss the open air markets, full of life, agitation, where we can meet locals and get to know the land products such as yam, manioc, or sweet potato. And a visit to the magnificent Tarrafal Bay, where you can take some time to swim and also get to know the history of this village, its concentration camp built by the Portuguese. Ribeira da Barca will bring you an experience that includes a hike and a small fisherman boat trip. To the ones who seek some action, and want to enjoy a closer contact to nature, we can offer different hikes, such as in Serra da Malagueta. We also provide city tours in Praia, the city, the capital, which allows you to have an historic and cultural view of the city. Santiago is the land or the island where a lot of musical styles have born. So at the end of the day, it's possible to enjoy a nice typical meal in a traditional restaurant with live music and watch, for example, a batucadeira show. It's a traditional type of dance and cultural manifestation only held by women. If we're talking about culture and traditions, we need to include a visit to Rabelados community. This is a community that revolted against the instituted authorities in the past and still lives with their own rules and habits. They've created, in the meantime, an artistic expression of their culture, which guests can discover with us. Finally, a landscape where you can see tropical trees in abundance, such as banana and coconut trees and other agricultural fields. It's now time to visit Fogo. Fogo means fire, and this is the active volcano island with astonishing landscapes, giving you the idea that you're out of the planet. The last eruptions took place between 2014 and affected the local community, destroying houses and local businesses. Here we have an airport, a domestic flights airport coming from and to Santiago. Fogo is rich in beautiful volcanic landscapes, and it is possible to do a variety of hikes, although the most famous ones are the Pico Grande or Big Peak hike. It's a walk to the highest point of the volcano. It has some high difficulty for more experienced hikers, and small peak hike for medium experienced hikers, allowing them to see the more recent lava flows from the last eruption. It is possible to visit Salinas, a nice fisherman village, and the newest attraction, a quad experience on Salinas Beach. Fogo is also known for wine and coffee production. So during our tours, you will have the chance to get to know all the details about its production and of course, get to taste them. Trekking is also possible in Fogo. And São Felipe, it's the capital, the city full of historical traces going back to the colonial time. Now from Fogo, we travel by boat to Brava Island, now known as the Flower Island. This is an island also with limited access, only suitable for customers with time. Anyway, it's the perfect place for hiking lovers and for those who seek peace and quiet. We now travel to the north part of the archipelago, and we start by São Vicente. São Vicente is called the capital of music and culture. Also the island where Carnival takes place, a lot like in Brazil. That's why they called it Little Brazil. It's the birthland of Morna, spread throughout the world by the diva Cesária Évora. Morna is a style of music, and it has an international airport with the name of the famous singer Cesária. Starting by Lajinha. Lajinha is an urban beach that gives you the chance to enjoy a relaxing day in the beach, but at the same time to be near to locals, families, friends that like to gather there. On the other side of the island, you have Baía das Gatas, a natural swimming pool where is held the famous music festival that gathers musicians from all over Cape Verde and from the diaspora. If you decide to make a city tour, you can admire the beautiful, well-preserved colonial buildings, the typical markets of the city, and the beautiful bay. You can as well dedicate one day to discover Mindelo from the point of view of Cesária, see where she used to live, where she used to sing, and visit all the places that she used to sing. It is also possible to make a few hikes, such as in Monte Verde, São Pedro, and Calhau, near the extinct volcanoes. As I told before, the island is famous for its colorful carnival. People work all year for this party, like in Brazil. The advantage of being in Cape Verde's carnival is that you don't have to pay to watch the parades. São Pedro. São Pedro Beach offers an exciting moment with sea turtles. You can swim with a resident group of turtles all year long in the ocean. It's really an amazing experience. And now we visit one of the most beautiful islands of Santo Antão. It's the island of the mountains where nature surprises all the time. Santo Antão is the greenest island. And Porto Novo is the city of arrival of the ferry. We can also provide a city tour to help you learn more about the history and traditions of this place. Santo Antão is the hiking paradise. We can do hikes adapted to the different kinds of hikers in many different locations. From small walks of about 2 hours with low level difficulty to 8 hours or more, only for very experienced walkers. And once again, the photos speak for themselves. We have breathtaking views such as Fontainhas, considered one of the most beautiful villages in the world by National Geographic. Paul, one of the most beautiful valleys. Cava crater, the crater of a sleeping volcano transformed into an agricultural field. Ribeira da Torre, the banana tree valley. Tarrafal de Monte Trigo with its beautiful bay. It's a surprising place to discover. And you can find all about the traditional way of producing grog in this island. And you can also get to taste it. Of course, it's a must do. And finally, if you come to Santo Antão in June, you can participate in one of the most famous religious parties, São João. We finished this island hopping with São Nicolau. It's an island very similar to Santo Antão, with a national airport with only twice-a-week flights from Santiago. And it has some accessibility by boat, but with uncertain frequency. That is why this island is still not very developed for tourism. Currently, we can only offer it to people with time, although we believe it has a huge potential for nature tourism. Now, finally, after hearing me, I propose that we watch together a small video about Cape Verde Islands. So I wish you will share the same passion that I share for Cape Verde, and that you've enjoyed this video. I will now give you an idea, just an idea of, just a moment. I will now give you an idea of a typical circuit, a 3-island circuit that includes cultural excursions, traditions, and you can also have the chance to visit 3 islands: Santiago, Fogo, and Sal. So Santiago, it's more, in Fogo, more cultural visits. And at the end, you have 2 days of leisure in Sal, so that you can enjoy the beach and relax. Now, I would like to thank you for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed this virtual tour to Cape Verde. We can't wait to welcome you open arms.